Kenya does not need an all-knowing savior or ruler for that particular matter. The country needs a hardworking, honest, consensus builder or reader to build the country and create a level of trust in the people of Kenya to invest their energy and their focus in moving a country to the next level. Those are not my words, but that of who was once the Minister for Interior during former President Uhuru Kenyatta's time, Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i, or the Sixth as they call him. This was during his on-camera interview at Citizen TV on the 1st of July 2025. During this time, Dr. Matiang'i told the viewer his interest to run for presidency come 2027 as he set to work with his colleagues in the opposition to focus on developing the country.
Yes. Well, of course, I am now working with my colleagues in the opposition, generally, and having conversations with several leaders in the country and engaging with Kenyans from various walks of life on the future of our country with the intention of seeing what we can do to fix some of the challenges we are facing in the country and how best we could take our country to the next level. As you may have noticed, and I think I've expressed myself elsewhere before.
In his interview, Dr. Freddy Matiang'i clarified that at the moment he is not a member of any political party, but is working with multiple political parties and many of them have developed interest in him being their presidential candidate. Matiang'i also said that he needs to have sufficient conversations and consultations with the people of Kenya and across the board before making his final decisions on where he will raise the flag from.
As I said, I'm now in consultations with a number of political parties, a number of political leaders across the board. I honestly think that if I made a choice now and stuck to one political party, I will disadvantage the others with whom we are having a discussion. Definitely, as we go forward, there is not going to be a single political party that will form government. The reality is that, we chose democracy and we have so many political parties. In Kenya, we have probably over 89 political parties, and that is how Kenyans want to organize their politics for the time being. I would rather have sufficient conversations and discussions with Kenyans across the board before I finally say this is the format in which I would like to present myself to the IEBC.
With claims of Dr. Freddy Matiang'i being a project of former President Uhuru Kenyatta, Matiang'i denied being involved in such activities, citing that having worked under Uhuru government does not guarantee him being a project of him. He further said that he does make conversations with former President Uhuru Kenyatta on matters of the nation and its affairs, just like he does to all other Kenyan.
Let me ask you, Sam. You are an intelligent person, very well educated and experienced person. What does that actually mean in practical sense? There are many things that are bandied around. When I was younger, a little more impatient, I used to tell people, there are things that people tell you that when you sit back and analyze them, they won't make sense even to a fool. What does that mean to be someone's project? What does that mean? It's an indelible historical fact that Uhuru Kenyatta appointed me to his cabinet, and I served in his cabinet for 10 years in 3 significant portfolios, and gave me additional responsibilities and so on. But by the way, cumulatively for the 10 years Uhuru was president, he appointed close to 30 or so people to his cabinet. Some of them are serving in cabinet to this day. Others have risen to other responsibilities and so on. So am I a project by dint of the fact that I served in Uhuru's cabinet? And if it's a question of service and so on, why are you not asking me if I'm World Bank's project? Because I've just come from the World Bank.
Have you had a conversation with the former president about your interests?
I have not asked him about whether or not I should run, but we discuss Kenyan affairs every time we have an opportunity. Like I discuss with thousands of other Kenyans whenever I have an opportunity.
In January 2022, the story of River Yara was all over the news. The abductions and extrajudicial killings were reported, and this was during the time of Fred Matiang'i as Interior CS, and the blame was on him. And at this point in time, when Dr. Freddy Matiang'i is eyeing the presidency, the integrity issue has risen, putting him in jeopardy of him being involved in the killing and dumping, and this is what he had to say.
Thanks for asking me that question, because this is the first time ever I'm having a public opportunity to answer that question directly. Because I've been seeing every time people say I'm going to go into public life, people start playing a song with 2 stanzas, River Yara, Ruaraka Land, and so on, and you see it repeated over and over again. I've never had an opportunity myself to publicly look the cameras in the face and say this is what it is and so on. When in 2021, the issue of a report was published by a local media about bodies being pulled out of River Yala, just like I saw last week and the week before, for us, we asked the Inspector General of Police, Mutiambai, what was happening at that time. We agreed that the gravity of the situation is such that the DCI himself should go to that place and find out what's happening. The DCI spent some time there with a team from the DCI. When they came back, we asked for an inquest. We demanded an inquest. At the National Security Council, we asked for an inquest. Can we go into this matter and find out what's happening? The DCI and the police told us, you know, fortunately for us, their bodies. Let us get the families to claim the bodies, then we build the stories from there. We open the file, we take statements from the families so that we understand the circumstances under which these people disappeared and the circumstances under which their bodies were found in River. By the time we were leaving government, the file was open. It was not closed at that particular time because investigations were going on. And that's why I keep saying every time, what happened with the file? I didn't live with the file. In any case, I would have nothing to do with the file as a cabinet minister. That was a police matter. And you know, our detractors or people who like to make negative claims about this are always, you know, they choose when it is convenient for them to say these things. The police service is independent. When they are doing certain things, it's dependent on the minister at other times. As a minister, I would have nothing with that investigation. I wouldn't even influence it for any particular purposes, as it were. The file was open. We didn't live with the file when we left government. So why don't we close the file and let us take action in the direction in which the investigation are pointing us? Besides, by the way, the best way to deal with this matter, in my view, is to have a public inquest so that all of us role players who were in the security sector at that point in time, we go face the inquest, and I'm ready to go before a magistrate or a judge, whoever it is going to preside over that inquest, and say what I know about it. But you see, the problem is throwing stones of convenience or political opportunity when the time is ripe. You know, say every time they say, oh, River Yala and so on and so forth. If I was responsible for a crime that was committed by a police officer when I was Minister for Interior, then I'm responsible for all road accidents.
The transformations made by Dr. Fred Matiang'i in his various posts in the government during former President Uhuru Kenyatta has made Dr. Fred Matiang'i an option for many Kenyans during these tough economic times that Kenya needs a change. The making of the sixth, the super minister, the bulldozer, the secret silent prime minister, and a no-nonsense yes, and among other titles given to Dr. Fred Matiang'i during his time as a CS.